So, good morning everyone. Good morning, sir. I am Jerome Kern Esemborgo, the reporter of Module 16, all about study on phrenology. And our objective for this lesson, at the end of the module, you should be able to summarize the concept of phrenology, identify what part of the brain that shows your strength and weakness. So, what is phrenology? Phrenology posited that bumps on the head were indication of psychological propensities. Phrenology is the study of the conformation of the skull as indicative of mental faculties and traits of character, especially according to the hypothesis of Franz Joseph Gall of 1758 to 1828. So, this image is Franz Joseph Gall. This one, guys. Phrenology was a theory of brain and science of character reading. What the 19th century phrenologists called the only true science of mind. Phrenology was derived from the theories of the distinctive German-French anatomist and physiologist Franz Joseph Gall. Phrenology enjoyed great popular appeal well into the 20th century, but been wholly discredited by scientific research. The basic tenets of Gall's system were: number 1, the brain is the organ of the mind. Number 2, the mind is composed of multiple distinct innate faculties. Number 3, because they are distinct, each faculty must have a separate seat or organ in the brain. Number 4, the size of an organ, other things being equal, is a measure of its power. Number 5, the shape of the brain is determined by development of the various organs. Number 6, as the skull takes its shape from the brain, the surface of the skull can be read as an accurate index of psychological aptitudes and tendencies. A practitioner of phrenology measuring the bumps on a boy's head to assess his future, painting by Frank Dadd at 1886. Human mental powers can be analyzed into a definite number of independent faculties. These faculties are innate, and each has its seats in a definite region of the surface of the brain. The size of each such region is the measure of the degree to which the faculty seated in it forms a constituent element in the character of the individual, and the correspondence between the outer surface of the skull and the contour of the brain surface beneath it sufficiently close to enable the observer to recognize the relative sizes of these several organs by the examination of the outer surface of the head. So the image shows us this guy is the one will measure the skull of this boy, and ang tawag aning iyang equipment is caliper, special kind of caliper sa una. And frank collaboration with his pupil Johann Caspar Spurzheim, who served as research assistant and collaborator, which began in 1800, led him to development of his theories concerning brain location and phrenology, which he initially referred to as cranioscopy. He characterized his primary goal to develop a functional anatomy and physiology of the brain, as well as a revised psychology of personality as organology. Gall ultimately identified 27 discrete brain centries of behavior, 25 of which have never been confirmed to exist. Gall marked on his model of the head the places of 26 organs as round enclosures with vacant interspaces. Spurzheim and Combe divided the whole scalp into oblong and conterminous patches identified by various designations such as amativeness, piloprognativeness, concentrativeness, adhesiveness, combativeness, destructiveness, secretiveness, acquisitiveness, constructiveness, self-esteem, love of approbation, cautiousness, benevolence, veneration, conscientiousness, firmness, hope, wonder, ideality, wit, imitativeness, individuality, form, perception, size perception, weight perception, color perception, locality perception, number perception, order perception, memory of things, time perception, tune perception, linguistic perception, comparative understanding, and metaphysical spirit. So this image shows the 26 organs, guys. So a phrenologic chart show the suggested division of the skull. So muna siya, guys, ang mga division sa skull and the 26 organs. Gall's lecture on cranioscopy became very popular, and it was his followers who gave his doctrine the name Phrenology. Against the church, however, it helped him little that his revolutionary concept was a pioneering and scientist alike. The church considered his theory as contrary to religion, that the mind created by God should have a physical set in brain matter, was anathema or a curse. Phrenology was reintroduced to Britain by the American phrenological Fowlers, Lorenzo Nellis Fowlers, in 1811 to 1896. In the 1860s and 1870s, the Fowlers had begun lecturing and reading heads for fees in New York. In the 1830s, their phrenology was wholly borrowed from the British. In the United States, the views on phrenology were supported by physicians Charles Caldwell, on 1772 to 1853, who searched for evidence that brain tissue and cells regulate human action. Neuroscientists today are using their new tools to visit and explore the idea that different personality traits are localized in different brain regions. Two of the leaders in this new field are psychologist Colin DeYoung of the University of Minnesota and Jeremy Gray of Yale, who has been using a brain scanner to search for evidence of the so-called Big Five personality traits. There is growing scientific consensus that every human personality is a unique mix of just 5 core attributes: extraversion, neuroticism, agreeableness, openness or intellect, and conscientiousness. Take extraversion, for example. Extraversion includes qualities like assertiveness and sociability and talkativeness, all traits having to do with positive emotion and rewarding social experiences. Based on this, the scientists guessed that the most extroverted people would have larger than normal brain regions associated with sensitivity to reward. Scientists found that neuroticism, a tendency toward negative emotions like irritability and anxiety, was associated with the brain regions involved in threat and punishment. Agreeableness, a catch-all for altruism, empathy, cooperation, and compassion, correlated with regions known to process those traits. And finally, the most conscientious volunteers had usually large brain structures involved in executive powers like future planning and following complex rules. In short, the brain studies lent strong support to the idea that the Big Five personality traits have a biological foundation. So this is an example of how phrenologists analyze or read the shape of the human skull and its corresponding analysis. Young ladies, indelibly fix this shape of head in your memories. Any man who will make a natural, kind, and true husband will have a head and an outline from a side view like this. So, mao ni siya guys, na nakabot ang genuine husband. And the reason this man is an unreadable husband is that he is very weak in conjugality and parental love, and exceedingly strong in amativeness. Therefore, ladies, beware of such men as husband. So, mo ni siyang last picture. Unreadable husband. And nga ni po siya sa side view, guys. So, that's all. And thank you, everyone. God bless.